Be aware of you, Heavenly Father, is just everything. We have your presence always, I trust. But we're not always aware of you. And when we're not aware of you, we can be wandering, goodness, we can't even remember where, and the mind wanders on, and we're not getting the blessing of relating to you, being aware of you, loving being with you. We're missing out. Filled with thankfulness, gratitude, and the joy, and the lovely expectation and hope that comes from that, and the peace, and the inclination to care and love, look after, appreciate everything you've made. Love you. When we're in love, we think, I was going to say always, of our beloved, but what I think I mean is the mind keeps coming back to the one we love. May the reality of you, the love of you, be infinitely greater, Lord. That the very thought of you is salvation, is life eternal. Love you. Thank you, Dad. How do we achieve this continual awareness? Well, I don't know, just think about it for a minute. Good habits. And the one I'm always talking about, of course, is being thankful. If you can't do it for things that don't seem so good, then do it for everything that does. And perhaps you'll be able to extend it to a few of the minor things that seem in the transitory to go wrong. Because of the hope and the confidence that's built in you from being aware of all his blessings. I've said it too often, but no, I can't say it too often. We come from nothing and we exist. How does the universe exist? This universe of uncertainty, this world of time, space, matter, change, uncertainty. Everything has given us our bearings at the present. How does it exist? We attribute it to something wonderful. Something wonderful has caused this to exist. And we don't just think of something, we think of someone. As we relate to people with purpose and that do things well. That's our God. The best purpose and done in the best way and most able. That is what I value. Which is what you value. So value creativity and care and loving kindness and peace and joy and harmony and loveliness and all good intention. Sweetness, if you like, light, warmth, comfort, life itself. Is there anyone that doesn't value these things? Perhaps you can add much to this list, and perhaps much of what you add is much of what everyone else agrees with too, that they value. And the bits that we don't, well, perhaps we learn to So we come to life eternal. Very simple, or seems simple to us because we're used to childhood ourselves. And perhaps we're still in a greater childhood in relation to God. We can imagine growing up to being more and more, ever more fully this loveliness. And that God has gone before us, perhaps, or that He's been or come about in some other way, and this is the kindest way of doing it for us. Whatever it is, we have good reason to trust Him. Oh, we've been so blessed with life and experience and a million good things that keep us in kindness, in His kindness. So I choose to believe. I'd be a madman to choose to believe anything else, or to believe in destruction is highly likely to bring destruction. But I believe in life eternal, and God, wonderful, wonderful Dad to us. Else how could we exist? And that's all I want to believe. That's what I choose to believe. What you choose to believe tells me who you are at present, what your values are at present. Thank you, Heavenly Father. Love you. Of course I love you. You personify everything I value. Love you so much. And trust you utterly to put right anything that might not be ready yet for the fullness of relationship with you eternally. This is my choice. This is my choice in the uncertainty of the universe that I dwell in. We choose to love God. Herein we know you're a child of God, because you choose to love your God. And if we got it slightly wrong, we trust Him to put it right. Parents are good at that. They have all sorts of ways of bringing out the best in us and minimizing everything that would be harmful. Because they love us, because we're their children. You're a child of God. You're God. You couldn't love any other. You love your parent. Ideally. And ideally your parent loves you. And we trust in the ideal. And if we didn't, we would be filled with sorrow. And would die a little each day. Instead of coming closer and closer to the fullness of life eternal. So choose you this day whom your God is. Choose as wisely as you can, but trust Him to put it right where you got it wrong. Trust is everything. You can't live without it. You can't take one step or lift your hand without some trust and expectation that it's going to achieve what you want to achieve. No surprises here, are there? Bless you. Lord bless you, your Lord, your God. May my God bless you too. May they be one God. wraps us in goodness and life eternal. Bless you. Bless you. Bless you. Thank you, Dad. Let's be very practical here. Eat the right food. You look as though you're a fruit eater the way you're made. At the very least, eat more fruit. And at the very most, probably end up eating only fruit and berries. Perhaps like the Old Testament says, Genesis, or is it Revelation, I'm not sure, but, perhaps the green herbs of the field are very good at times. I don't think cooking is terribly natural, but might be a blessing occasionally. Not very good at eating, I can eat spinach and lettuce and so on, so. Not very keen. Cabbage, not very good unless you cook it. I'm not sure about cooking. You can sort that out. You don't have to eat perfectly. Just eat considerably better than you do now. Sleep. Body needs rest. Good, give it rest. Not too much, of course. I don't know what's the right amount. The right amount is what doesn't leave you a bit sleepy and drowsy and tired during the day. And if you are tired during the day, well, if there's opportunity to have a rest, lay down and have a rest. As a kid, I was often laying on the floor. Mum would be sitting in the armchair, doing whatever she was doing. But I'd tend to play on the floor. And when you got tired, well, you just lay and did less. You're already laying. I don't mean you have to get yourself down on the floor, but when you're sitting listening for long periods of time, it's probably best if the heart is not pumping something from the feet to the head, which is quite a height. If you just, you might have your feet up, or you might be sitting cross-legged, or you might be lounging. You might lay on the sofa instead of sitting on it, chatting away to your friends. You're comfortable. Lounging, you see? Lounging. But we don't want to lounge all the time. Perhaps the body needs good exercise. Have a nice walk, not one that exhausts you. Just a nice walk. If you enjoy running at times, run at times, but never to excess. Never exhausting the body, but just a freedom of the body to exercise in the way it wants. Perhaps you have some type of routine, bodybuilding, tension exercises, whatever. Yoga, perhaps. Nothing extreme, just never forcing to the absolute limit, my goodness. Not sport, where it's so competitive that you're always trying to go to the limit. Generally not that. Don't put the body at risk. Don't drive too fast. Don't do anything too fast. Anything that's too is too much. You know what I mean? Don't do too much. Do enough. Don't do less than enough, but don't do too much. You don't need to do more than enough. Enough is always enough. Not to excess, you see. And usually leaves you with a surplus that can be put to great blessing and use. And that's so generally, isn't it? I mean, with finance, you only need enough. The surplus you can be charitable and helpful and loving with, and bless others. Use it wisely. Do everything wisely, with an eye to Is this best? Is this the best thing to eat? The best exercise? The best thoughts? The best company? The best I can do to be a blessing? Is this the best way of spending my thought, my time? Would I do better to be more aware of God? Well, do it then. Do it and see. If you're blessed by doing so, you'll do more. Till you get to whatever the right state is, the best state. Pursue goodness in everything. The words you say, are they a blessing? Can they comfortably and easily be made more of a blessing? Let's do that then. Let's see what that blessing's like. You'll be wedded to it if it's good. Are my thoughts a blessing? Which thoughts tend to bring the most blessing? Let's move towards that then. What friendships, what activities, what occupation, what pastime? Which ones bless me most? Am I blessed in fact by being on my own? Or blessed by certain company? Or blessed by certain activities rather than others? It's very simple, isn't it? Choose what seems to be the greatest blessing. It's very simple, really, isn't it? Thank you, Dad.